How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Are you still out of town, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, I'm in Boston.
Looks like you're having a good time. That's for Laravel Conf
Yeah. Laracon.
Laracon, that's what they call it.
Yeah, I'm getting over this crud, so my voice is like deeper than usual. But all is well. I'll be in my bed tomorrow night for his millisecond. Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to be in Atlanta for one night. I'm going to go see Lord Huron
Oh, cool.
on the 1st. But yeah, I'll get started in just a moment. Let me put your banner up while we're waiting.
I've not listened to Lord Huron, but I keep seeing them come up. I probably should check it out.
They're pretty chill. I if it tells you anything about them, they opened for Mumford and Sons. Hey Dom. And they opened for when I first heard them, who's that lady? Musgraves?
Yeah,
Casey
okay.
Musgraves? Yeah. So they're super chill. But I don't know, I really like them. And it seems like bands break up so quickly now. I'm like, I just need to go and see them because it didn't work out with my schedule, so I made it work. Yes. So let me see. Hey, Dave. Thanks for joining us. Let me pull up my little questions. Okay. Yeah. So, Chris, please tell us. Well, first of all, let me explain how I know you. I think we met for the first time at All Things Open, like in person. But I met you in the Torc community. And then I had the lovely pleasure of presenting at the conference that you run, DevOps Days Atlanta. So that was really cool. And it's been fun finding small moments whenever we're around each other to hang out. Usually you're pretty busy. um, but can you tell me more about yourself? Tell
Yeah.
the audience more about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Chris Corriere. My handle most places on the internet is Ecology Chris. That domain on the banner is my Blue Sky. But I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn more these days. I still check Blue Sky and Instagram. But I think it's interesting how different social media apps sort of uh, serve different purposes. I'm trying to do more stuff on GitHub now. I think GitHub is
Mm.
not framed as a social media app often enough. And I've been organizing DevOps Days Atlanta for a decade now, which DevOps is really a gateway into complexity science for me because it pulled in that sociotechnical piece. We have to work with the humans, and if the systems we're building aren't serving people, then what are they doing? Uh, so that's really after a decade of organizing DevOps Days. I started that because I had presented at a few events and I had attended enough of them, DevOps Days events specifically, that I had a rough idea what a good conference looked like. And some of them that like just didn't hit right, felt a little awkward maybe. Um, and it's super interesting to me visiting different cities and seeing how the tech ecosystem in that town is different. And that's part of community organizing is attending and presenting at other events helps me meet cool people to get them to come present in Atlanta. You want to have some local presenters too, but it's good to have a mix of people from out of town so we're not hearing the same people talk all the time at the same meetups and conferences. That's really how I got tagged up with Torc. Southeast Regional, Taylor's out of Nashville historically. and All Things Open is out of the Carolinas. Then you've got Render Atlanta and Dev Nexus in Atlanta. Commit Your Codes in Dallas, and there's a DevOps Days there too. So that's just sort of how we've been. Sometimes I get up to New York and Boston. This has been a while since I've been out to California. I think I end up in Europe more often somehow. But yeah, it's been super fun being part of a global tech ecosystem. And that's really what ecology-computing.com is now, is listing these social practices we've discovered across platform value streams and trying to break things down where when I meet someone at an event or out in public, sometimes I'm just like hanging out at a coffee shop and people start talking to me. But I'm really looking at a lot of the mapping and strategy stuff. I know they're not going to have an answer for, but I think really Commit Your Code last year, I was pushing it that sure, you've committed some code, you're on GitHub. Is any of that running in production anywhere where I can hit it with a browser or download an app? And if so, do you have users or people using the software? And with agentic development, that's becoming a bigger question of, yeah, we're writing a lot of stuff. Is anybody doing anything with it? So yeah, what's on ecologycomputing.com right now is like super bare bones and minimal. There's more in the back. So I'm gradually rolling that stuff out. And I think the thing I'm super excited about now, I was doing all my value stream and dependency chain mapping stuff in Miro, which they were good looking maps. Now I've started doing them in Draw.io, which breaks down to XML under the hood, which makes them machine readable. So if I'm working with Claude or Gemini or whatever, it doesn't have to try to pull apart my map with multimodal technology. You can just look at the XML and understand it, which helps us get on the same page and avoid confusion when we're working through stuff. So.
Naz mentioned the guitar in the background, and I have seen on your Instagram, sorry, totally off from what you were saying, but I've seen you playing, it was the banjo, right?
Yeah, the banjo's
on your Instagram.
Banjo's right here.
Yeah. Yeah, you are pretty talented. Those are some fun videos to watch on your Instagram.
Yeah. It's I've been playing more guitar lately, I think. I was goofing off the banjo some this morning.
Nice.
But that's a social practice like code is or anything else humans do. So how you practice and how you perform, like if I'm playing at home versus if I'm recording a video or doing an open mic or trying to go busk on the sidewalk and make a little money, there's a different approach to it. And I think it's true with tech that you can't know all the systems at once. I think that can be intimidating for beginners when you get into the scope creep and just number of languages on platform. But like you forget parts of it and then remember them when you need to. If you haven't been working with the technology for a while, you got to get reacquainted. And I just did this with guitar. I forgot a song. It was on Twitter. It was Where Rainbows Never Die. I posted that as a reply. I was like, I know how to play this. And when I looked it up, the recall came back pretty quick. And I was goofing off with that riff and said, this sounds like something else. And it ended up being Tuesday's Gone. I was like, wait a minute. I figured this out like a year ago. But like just didn't take notes on it and forgot the whole thing. And that's kind of where the repos around ecology computing and the green test notebooks are moving. Is there good notes for me that help me bootstrap an environment and onboard quicker? And I could do the same with guitar. If I took better notes, I'd have a better recall. So I think that gets into like, are we trying to make a living out of this? Like, how serious are we getting with our hobbies? And where does software development lie in with that? You've got some projects that you're just kind of playing with, and others that maybe you're trying to get more public facing and broader adoption with. But
Do
same
you have
can
any
be
that
true.
overlap with music
Same is true.
or coincide?
Yeah. Do you play anything?
I wish. No, I was a choir dork
Oh, okay.
or
So you're a
choir geek.
singer.
Yeah, I pretend to be. I
Yeah.
carry.
So yeah, I mean, it's like most people like whether or not they would admit it, they're going to sing in the car, they're going to sing in the shower. There's a point in time people like singing. It's a human social practice. Whether or not you're comfortable doing karaoke is debatable. Some people don't have any stage fright at all, and we see people at open mic. That's I would say was less common 10 years ago, but folks will bring an iPad or an iPhone and put a backtrack and just sing. And sometimes it's not even originals. It does have a karaoke vibe, but that's the cool thing about art. You can just kind of do whatever.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. That was a fun intro. How did you find Torc? Like, I know a lot of us that are here, I think, know you um, because we met you through the Torc Randstand Digital Community. Um, how did you find it?
At events, I think initially on Twitter, I some of it was fun. Like the content was fun. I caught up with Jason and Taylor and other folks at All Things. No, I think first time was at Render Atlanta when we met, and then I think we followed up at All Things Open, like maybe the AI Summit that was in Raleigh a few years ago. And Jason came and gave an Ignite talk a couple years ago at DevOps Days. And I think there's like a complementary relationship. Like I like the fact that there's a lot of good feedback on interview prep and resume review. The Discord is super active, and I think there's a tendency for folks to want to go stand up an entire new community. And I try to focus on more like how can we engage and interact and be like complementary.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of where I saw the opportunity in Discord. Is like there's a lot of folks in here asking very technical questions. I can help answer those. I can put some stuff in some repos and try to nudge people a little bit.
Yeah, and you were in our mentor program too, helping people.
That's right. Yeah, I think I won mentoring. We started with like 2 or 3, and I think I ended up with a half dozen people by the time we got.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to carve out part of that for ecology computing. Some of it's managing like small office, home office, business projects. They often don't have funding to just pay me my list price. So they're stuck in GoDaddy and Google Sheets and like 20 different other platforms. They don't have clean data integration. They're not getting clean reporting. I'm trying to couple that with the mentorship community and folks between gigs. If I can throw them some cash to push some commits and do a little work, there's a point we can put that on a resume and treat it as a transitional job.
That's awesome.
Keep the habits fresh, between gigs. So still working on that. Right now, we're very much more like hanging out and being cool mode. And that was generally that's been my approach to mentorship. It's just like, what are people trying to do and how can we help them get there versus being overly prescriptive. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great way to utilize your, leadership role as a mentor. What about your role as an ambassador? Like, how do you kind of use that or leverage that? Since I know you like to help people.
Yeah, it's if I meet folks, often I'll have a tech shirt on. Sometimes it's my Torc shirt. Sometimes it's a Java shirt or something like that. But last one I remember distinctly was a barista at an art show I went to. Was asking me 20 questions and was like, you should go to torc.dev and get on Discord. Like, you can find me there. There's a community. They'll help you with resume review. There's workshops and other stuff to jump out on. And I think that is a better on-ramp than just giving them my domain and telling them to check out my GitHub profile. If you're not already in GitHub and don't have code to like test, that's a steep learning. It can be a steep learning curve. What if I don't know what I want to be when I grow up yet? You should try more stuff. I think that's like, sometimes I have that conversation with folks when they've been struggling with tech and getting into the tech market. It's like, maybe like if you don't like this, you don't have to do it. And I think there are other roles in tech than just developer. You can get into product work or testing or like management stuff. And I really do appreciate like a clean someone that knows how to run Kanban and manage the agile rituals and all that. I appreciate that function on a team and would rather not do it myself if I can avoid it. Have you ever been in like an agile heavy workflow where they're doing stand up and sprint review and story pointing and all that jazz?
Not a heavy one, no.
Yeah. I don't believe in story points, but I will entertain them within reason. But yeah.
What is, because you're definitely a great ambassador, and I feel like you're one of our like leading IRL ambassadors, which I feel like a lot of the people I've interviewed, it's like you can tell a lot, like for example, Jeff does a lot of internet content, and then we have like people like you that are really good at like word of mouth invitations, and we're still trying to figure out a way to like show that off, because I know that right now it's like hard to track that aspect of it. But what's something that you want people, when you talk to them about Torc or the Randstand Digital Community, what's something that you want them to take away from that, or like something you feel like doesn't get talked about enough?
That we're willing to meet you where you're at right now, like wherever you're at in your journey. I think that's the important part. We talk a lot about bringing new folks into tech. And I think there's some conversation. It can get really focused on that. And I do believe like preserving like the knowledge work across generations is important. But I think there's an element of the Torc community that's trying to support folks throughout their career. That you're probably not going to get hired by one company and stay there, and you need community to return to in between things. And I think the fact that what's up, Ron, is the whole water cooler piece. I think that is important. I've been calling it the rhizosphere, that there's just a place we can kind of chill out and hang out and be cool and not get in too much of a rush. Which rhizosphere is actually the area of the soil around roots and topsoil, where a bunch of cool stuff happens, but it is very flat, and it's a place that like you establish roots and start to grow from. And like the other program I'm working on that I haven't launched yet is Trellis, which is structure to grow on once you've set some roots. And that does get into complexity science that we want to structure things architecturally and talk about scaffolding and like framing out a building, but a building isn't physically alive. And when you're dealing with sociotechnical systems, there are living elements in those that you have to pay attention to. And you can't just hammer people into place. Some other communities I work with do start with the like get up and march sort of mentality. Like we're immediately going to throw you into code and start building stuff, which is great for some people and maybe not for others. And I think that's healthy too. That nobody in Torc belongs to Torc exclusively. I know we all hang out with other communities that intersect from time to time. So it's that whole ecosystem play.
I love the rhizosphere comment. Rhizosphere. I need to look it up because I totally thought you were talking about like Riz, like charisma, but I get it's funny. It kind of works on both levels.
It's perfect. Well, and Dave Snowden, who's one of my mentors, was a keynote.
Yeah, he spoke at
DevOps
Days, right?
Right. He's been talking about the canal and the estuary, and that where there's more structure and less structure, and what's allowed to grow and what's trying to be contained, and sort of the trade-off between those spaces. He's got a lot of writing out there, but it's definitely in that same vein of are we trying to let something be wild and organic, or are we trying to be a little bit more directed and focused and looking for specific outputs instead of just exploring what's possible? And I think the Torc Discord is very much about just exploring what's possible. You can get like a survey course of a lot of different technologies and drink options between water cooler and other places.
Oh, yes. And then the controversial drink options as well. Coke and Pepsi, guys. Coke and Pepsi. So I know like you are definitely a wealth of knowledge and advice, and just like, you're a great resource for our community. What's something that you have learned from the community, or, specific members of the community, whether it's, tech related or like mixing Pepsi and milk, apparently?
Something Taylor landed on this morning that I think is probably insightful was just framing like your job title on LinkedIn, and are you showing up in searches? I'm listed as complexity scientist and sociotechnological mathematician, which sounds really cool and like plays into my personal branding well. I have picked up work for complexity science stuff. He has got me thinking now, if I change that to platform architect, what would my inbox look like after a week? That might be an experiment I need to run.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that.
Change it back.
What's that?
I said you could always change it back. Yeah.
Right. I think that framing's good. And a lot of the advice around showing up and trusting people. I was on a call with a guy today that I met at DevOps Days. We've had a couple calls. And again, I was laughing about Torc stuff. Taylor's in Torc, or have you had to handwrite notes? Have you been conscripted into that, the handwritten notes, the stuff that doesn't scale? And this guy had asked for my address, and I gave it to him when we were on the call, and then kind of freaked out about OPSEC and why did he want, and he sent me a note is what he did. And I was like, yeah, I think
you just won't trust people with your ambassador code, will you?
No, not really 007. You gotta log in and find it. And I need to get that link on my sites. I don't have a Torc link out.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
In my backlog to link out to Torc stuff more explicitly.
Yeah, because I try to push y'all more now, but every once in a while I still get the notification because of the link that I have in my profile, in my on my link tree. Well, so is there anything that we haven't discussed that you want to talk about, or like share something you're working on?
I wanted to ask like what's on the Torc roadmap. Like I know there are events both of us will be at soon. We're both going to be at Render and commit your
Yay.
code.
Yay.
Is there
An
any
ATO
like
probably, right?
what's that?
An ATO probably, right?
Probably ATO. What what's are there any like goals Torque has that like I can help push for? Any roles or technologies or demographics? Like I saw Arizona hit the map recently. Hey Nina.
Yeah, I know they're trying to, they just recently made a push in Charlotte. And then, yeah, they opened up connections in Phoenix. I think we have a couple more IRL events coming up, but honestly, like you've been such a huge help with our mentorship program. I might hit you up soon regarding that because we're thinking about bringing that back. I mean, we are going to bring that back, but we're thinking about waiting until the new year. So yeah, just to kind of like get everything ironed out, make it a little shorter, more impactful.
No, that's awesome. I'm definitely on board with all that.
Well,
And
cool. Let me share your link one more time.
yeah,
Um,
I would say check out ecologycomputing.com and the green test notebooks. And there's a trajectory there with what I'm doing with vanilla compost. It's just like a test app. Uh, but that's the game I'm playing now. Even on your GitHub, there are repos I'm looking at. If I spin up an environment with my notebook, is your stuff just going to run? Or is there like you would have to be experienced enough to know that you got to set like a dozen environment variables before this is going to kick off on an Ubuntu box or whatever. And I think we like often forget like the experience we have that we're not aware of, tacit knowledge we have in different spots, and trying to do a better job of documenting that. So,
yeah,
um,
awesome. Well, it's been so great having you today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for signing up to join us. And I will see you pretty soon in a couple weeks, I guess.
yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for having me, Roxy.
All right. Bye. Bye,
Later.
everyone. Thanks for joining.